Hi guys, Caldy Studios here, and today we're gonna go over. I got a stack of the original Railway series books. Most of these are by Christopher Audrey, as you can tell. I did have a big book, a big red book, but I think it's in storage somewhere. So I have 12 of these, and I also got this one, Gordon the Big Engine, because when I was younger, I really liked Gordon. I think he had the best crashes. So I just want to go over the ones we got. See, I got Thomas and Victoria. Oh, I shouldn't mention, I do have another one. I think it's like the one with Ivanhoe in it. Yeah, Thomas and Victoria. And I read some of these. I read a bunch, and other ones I only read once or twice. And there's actually some that like I never got around to it is kind of complicated. I bought a bunch of these and like I kind of just displayed them and stuff, and I was gonna make a story out of them, so I'd never wanted to read them ahead of time, but then it never really happened. So this I got Toby Trucks in Trouble. I do remember. Okay, this one was pretty good. I feel like honestly, Christopher Audrey. I know there's some people that hate on him and stuff, but I feel like some of these books are really underrated. I really, I really do like Wilbert the Forest Engine. Uh, I I would say honestly, maybe this is a little overrated. I do prefer Toby Trucks in Trouble over this one, even though it is a bit thinner. But Thomas and the Twins. I think this was one of the few the few the one of the rare Christopher Audrey books to actually be adapted onto the main TV show. So we don't talk about that spin-off. So this is the book. I think this was the first Railway series book, and I got it way back in middle school. And then the rest of them came after I graduated high school. Um, when I was younger, I just thought, well, I already got the first 12, and I just see how many Railway series books I can get and stuff. And because, I mean, I know I could just get PDF copies of it, and I do have PDF copies of the original Island of Sodor, its people in history and its railways. I do have that, but I think there's something of just owning these copies that just make it special, like, and not just special. It's especially since a lot of these books, they cost like $100 easily just to get one of these books, and I mean, it limited release and all that. Gordon the High Speed Engine. I definitely guys still read this one and stuff. As far as trying to replicate these stories, I doubt it because a lot of my stuff is still in storage. But we got more about Thomas the Tank Engine, and now I think this is one of the other books that had some adaptations into it, specifically the one where Thomas went to breakfast. Yes. Uh, really useful engines. Now, if I remember correctly, this came out in '83, and mainline engines came out in '72. So there's an 11-year gap there. I really say I really didn't like how the TV series kind of like took over, and we got to have more books about Thomas and stuff, as you can see with Thomas Comes Home. Like, you got to have more books involving Thomas because he's a mascot. And I really wish they kind of the book deals weren't really the best. I really wish they could just allow him to like expand on more of the whole island itself. There's nothing more I hate than like, let's just have more books about the same 12 character. I mean, they're nice and all, they're classics, but like Jock the New Engine, for example, you got a whole new story about the Arsdale Railway. I mean, I just like the miniature engines. I really like how not only you got like the new expansion, like the new engine comes to town, and but you kind of also kind of explore like lesser parts of the whole island. It I really wish they did a book on the electric diesels, but as as I said, they really, the TV series really kind of took it out of Wilbur Audrey's hands, and not just Wilbur Audrey, but Christopher Audrey's hands. And, well, he was not writing books at the time, Wilbur, but so Thomas Comes Home. I thought it was all right. Definitely not my favorite, but it did okay. And here we have, I think this is the only book I have that is from the original Reverend Audrey, if I'm not mistaken. Mountain Engines. I really like how they explore this. I really love the stories. I mean, I read this book to death when I was like, um, I watched the Train Z adaptations, and I just watched them tons and tons of times. But I heard it's just now that this book, I feel like it really they couldn't really like make any more stories. I know a couple engines got overhauled, but like you can have some banter with that. But there wasn't much that happened on Snowden, so that's kind of why they were unable to expand on the stories, you know. And to be clear, I don't really know the basis that well and stuff. I'm just kind of more like, I just kind of wish, like I'm just more like, I'm here for the characters and stuff. But it is something to hear the backstory of some of these and how it's like, oh, that actually happened. Like with Rheneas on the Talon Hein Railway. I don't have that book, but that one is a good book, worth checking out. Hopefully, eBay is not too expensive, so I could get it. But, anyways, I really hate to say that they never had a chance to get adapted. I mean, I do like the Arsdale Railway. I really do like seeing the CGI edition. And I kind of had a dream about it when I was little that it was going to happen eventually. So I was glad when it happened in 2015, which is already 10 years now. But I'm sad that these are some of my favorite characters and they never got like into the TV series. And especially if they were, I mean, can you imagine a modeled rack railway, that would have been something. I think I would have loved to seen that, because you don't see a lot of railways too much in model form. So I don't know. I know HO does. There's a couple brands that do rack railways, but I can't really say I recall which ones there are. Maybe Markland does that, but yeah. So that's Mountain Engines, and finally we have James and the Diesel Engines, which I didn't realize, but I actually have the bigger edition that I read, and I thought it was pretty good. I never really cared. The thing I read with like these books is you can kind of understand how well Wilbur Audrey felt about them, and he was very big on steam and steam preservation, and he was very against diesel. I would say he was they call it Luddites or something like that. Um, Maybe not that extreme, but there's people who are like against new technologies, and I kind of feel like being on the older side. The Wilbert Audrey was kind of he experienced big steam when he was younger, and the power and the potential and stuff. But ultimately, my opinions on it, I feel like a lot of us were very like, oh yeah, steam, go steam, and no diesels or something like that because of how the show was. But if I'm being honest, the show doesn't do. I know again, it's a show for like 5-year-olds. I get it, but like, I just it it like it doesn't really do it justice. I guess you're kind of. I guess that's why I feel like the Railway series kind of like I really like how they kind of eventually like come to terms with it and kind of accept it and like realize maybe new technology isn't too bad. Because that's how I feel about it. Because like it or not, I think diesel and then later electric engines kind of took over and like that's just life. You're not going to see a steam engine ever again running the main line except for like tourism. So uh, that's just kind of my reviews of everything. James and the diesel engine. I would like to add more into it to my collection. I mean, maybe I could get all 42 of the original little books. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye now.